Wall Street, the most powerful financial machine on earth, a fortress of glass and steel, built to never lose. To most people, it looked untouchable, an endless cascade of numbers, designed by men in suits who believed they'd already solved the game. But in the shadows of that empire, there was someone different. Not a billionaire, not a CEO, a woman, working quietly, almost invisibly, armed with nothing more than a pencil, paper, and a mind that could see patterns no one else could. She noticed something they didn't, a tiny flaw in the system, a crack in the armor, and instead of ignoring it, she used it. This isn't a story about money, it's about a mind, brilliant, underestimated, and dangerous to those in charge. So who was she, and how did she manage to outsmart Wall Street at its own game? She came of age in a world that had already decided what she couldn't be. Finance, mathematics, the sharp edges of Wall Street. Those were arenas for men in tailored suits, not for a woman with nothing but talent and stubbornness. But from the beginning, numbers spoke to her in ways people didn't. As a child, she'd fill notebooks with patterns, solving puzzles that even her teachers couldn't explain. And yet, every time she tried to step forward, doors quietly closed. Professors called her brilliant and then hired someone else. Firms praised her mind and then sent rejection letters by the dozen. So she made her own space, a small apartment, a cheap desk lamp, stacks of papers covered in equations. She scribbled formulas on napkins at diners, sketched ideas on the back of bills. While others played the market with money and muscle, she studied it like a living thing, dissecting its movements, searching for its weak points. She didn't have a corner office. She didn't even have much money. What she had was something Wall Street wasn't prepared for: clarity. And clarity, in an era when Wall Street seemed invincible, was far more dangerous than anyone realized. Genius isn't about having the right answers. It's about knowing which questions matter. And for her, the question was simple. What happens when you stop looking at Wall Street the way Wall Street looks at itself? Night after night, she pored over price sheets and trade records. Most people saw noise, random swings, meaningless decimals, but she saw rhythm, tiny delays, predictable cycles, a heartbeat hidden inside the chaos. Imagine a casino where one slot machine paid out just slightly more often than the rest. To most gamblers, it's invisible. To her, it was everything. That was the loophole, a repeating mistake buried in the machinery of global finance. At first, she tested it cautiously, a few small trades, the kind no one noticed, and the system rewarded her. Then again and again. Each time the pattern held, each time the loophole whispered back, "You're right." She wasn't guessing, she wasn't gambling, she was playing a rigged game. But for once, the rigging worked in her favor, and in a place built on certainty, nothing is more dangerous than someone who can see through the illusion. At first, the giants of Wall Street didn't even flinch. Her trades were too small, too quiet, a few blips on their radar. Nothing worth attention. They laughed, because, in their world, a lone woman with a pencil couldn't possibly matter. But then the numbers started adding up. What looked like coincidence became consistency. And consistency in finance is terrifying, because it means someone has cracked the code. Behind closed doors, whispers spread. Who was she? How was she doing it? In a system that prided itself on being unbeatable, her wins looked less like luck and more like betrayal. Meetings grew tense. Executives who once mocked her now demanded answers. The firms realized she wasn't just making money, she was taking it from them. One small victory at a time, she was bleeding the machine. And that's when the mood shifted, from laughter to panic. Because nothing scares Wall Street more than the proof that it can be beaten. Wall Street doesn't like being embarrassed, and it never forgives those who expose its flaws. The hammer came down quickly, regulators announcing sudden corrections, loopholes sealed almost overnight, rules rewritten, language buried deep in documents no one reads. On paper, nothing unusual happened, just the market fixing itself. But behind those quiet words was a message. Your game is over. She didn't make headlines. She didn't get credit. Her name vanished. Her work dismissed as a footnote in financial history. The system had closed ranks, and like it always does, it made the challenger disappear. She didn't walk away rich. She didn't get a movie deal or a book tour or even recognition. What she left behind was something harder to measure. Proof. Proof that even the most powerful system in the world can be cracked by someone it never saw coming. Her story is less about money and more about what happens when brilliance collides with arrogance, when a quiet mind sees what empires can't. Wall Street remembered the loophole, but history forgot the woman who found it. And maybe that's the real question. How many other hidden geniuses are out there, silenced, waiting for their moment to be seen?